Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Karen Reborn. In case you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel. And for the returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back and appreciating my content. Ensure that you watch the previous videos, like, share and comment. So today I want to analyze a book, Shreds of Tenderness. I've chosen a topic from this book that I'm going to talk about, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I want to talk about the title, Shreds of Tenderness, and its appropriateness to the book. This title, Shreds of Tenderness, I know most of people are asking themselves, how is Shreds of Tenderness related to this book? How is it expressed in this book? And John Ruganda uses this topic to express certain things in the book. First of all, we can talk about the love in the society. He expresses or gives a society that doesn't have love at all. That is why the title fits the book so well. It suits this book. And so we're going to talk about that in a few. So let's begin. So in Shreds of Tenderness, we can see that the title is related and is appropriate to the book. For all these things are visible inside the book that we're going to talk about. We can see that Odie lacks shreds of tenderness towards his brother Wax. And this one, we can talk about it and say that in the book, we can see that Odie is the one that reports the brother to the SRB. He reports the brother to the SRB. He's the same person that fakes the death of the brother and announces it all over the radio and everything. We can also see that he does all this just to inherit the property of their father. So there is also shreds of tenderness. There's lack of shreds of tenderness in that. We can also see that growing up, Odie, Stella and Work, there was some hatred and some sibling rivalry between them, as the Odie's father did not show love to Odie, but instead he preferred Stella and Work, and he loved them without thinking about the feelings of Odie in this book. And as a result of that, it grew into the sibling rivalry, and we can see that there's no lack. The book doesn't explore. The book explores here lack of shreds of tenderness through Odie's father, by getting to treat the children in a way that was not good, showing love to the other, preferring the other children to Odie. And because of this, he even disowns Odie from the family properties and gives them to Work and Stella, the ownership. And so that one, we can say that there's no shreds of tenderness. There is lack of shreds of tenderness in there. Again, we can also see that Odie is also insensitive to Stella's feelings. When they were talking and interrogating each other and arguing, when Stella came during the time Odie was experimenting, Stella and Odie gets into argument. But then, because of Stella having to date the person that signed the death warrant, Mr. Ali, that signed the death warrant of the father, Odie speaks very harsh words towards Stella, and that means that he was so insensitive. And again, we can talk about Stella in the same perspective. We can say that Stella is also not practicing any shreds of tenderness. By doing this, we can see that Stella is dating Major General Ali. This is the same person that signed the death warrant for the father. Stella is not showing any shreds of tenderness to the father. There is no lack. There is a lack. There is lack of shreds of tenderness towards the father through Stella. There is nothing that can be uploaded there. And again, we can also talk about the play. It also expresses lack of shreds of tenderness to the refugees on how they are mistreated by the sweepers, the police, and everyone, and their rights. They're denied of their rights. We can see that also in this book. Again, we can talk about the play showing lack of shreds of tenderness towards the citizens. This one, we can view it from this perspective. At the beginning of the book, we can see that there are some experiments that are being done by Odi. Yes, we can see, let me read a part. He places them on one end of the table. The glass jar is in the center. He goes back to the dining hall. In the distance, is heard the ricocheting of guns. Odi re-enters carrying another jar, an ice container, and a tin of pesticide, which is playing with in imitation of the guns outside. He places everything on the table, arranges them to suit his purpose before he sits down. Insistently tapping on the central jar, he addresses the jar between the tappings. And now we can see that he's now addressing the jar right here, from here. So we can see that it talks about this. Your Highness, having a royal nap. Your Highness, are you? A royal nap in spite of the shooting and the shelling and the killings outside. A bit impatient. Your Highness, Your Highness, are you deaf? You mighty Highness. Or is it that you have no ear for the onslaughts of man by man? No ear for the cries of woe? I'm amazed. No shreds of tenderness left in you. The liberation war is upon our backs, and you take time off to have a royal nap. Cozy, very cozy indeed. Cozy and careless, I might add. So from that point, we can see that he's imitating whatever the government was doing to the citizens. The government they were so deaf to the cries and the plight of the citizens. They could not give them a ear, just like the insects inside the jar. They're just sleeping, they're just calm, they're just reluctant. There's no one to listen to the plea or the plight of the citizens, and we can see there's no lack. There is a lack of shreds of tenderness to the citizens by the government. So again, we can talk about shreds of tenderness, lack of it, from the perspective of work coming back. Work is a refugee. Odi is the remnant, the person that remained in the land, but work had to run away for the dear life. And having to come back, work is now faced with a lot of is now denied, is not accepted. There is no acceptance in the family, and Odi makes it difficult even for work to settle down. This is because he could not accept work back. No one is ready to accept the refugees back home, and no one is giving them good time even to allow them to settle down in their homeland, despite the traumas that they had where they went at the refugee country or refuge country. So we can also see that it's difficult for them to settle down, as the returnees, just as work, are seen as people who are less in that society by their family or individuals from their own circle. And again, we can also see that the way Odi interacts with him doesn't show any kind of love, even though he had enough trauma from wherever place that he went to. So that is how we can also describe the shreds of tenderness. And John Ruganda in this book is only trying to bring out the lack of love in the society, the lack of tenderness in the society, that people are not treated with love in the society, and that is all we can see in the book. I've just selected a few from the book. You can also go pick where you can see any lack of shred of tenderness and comment it down below so that we can continue with the discussion at the comment section. Thank you so much for watching until this point. Let's meet in the next video, and until then, bye.